LevelUp Score. I hope you have an amazing day. This is Tuesday's top tip, and today I promised last week that I would deliver my freedom funnels to you. So that's what we're going to do today. Very excited to do that. I hope you have an amazing day. Let me go ahead and unpause my recording here. All right, so imagine you have a business that is able to attract the clients that you want and convert them all while you're sleeping. That's what I'm going to teach you today on the Freedom Funnel. I'm excited to be here. As always, I do Tuesday top tips at 12 noon live for you guys, and this is an exciting one. I think you guys are going to get a lot out of it. My promise to you is if you take these tips away from this video today and you really apply them, you're going to find yourself being able to attract more leads into your pipeline, but also create a system in which you don't have to do more work and you can create some things that'll make some work done for you and have a life. And I think this is what we all want. We want to be able to grow our business. We want to scale our business, but we also want to have a life. So welcome to Tuesday's Tops Tips. Again, I'm Ali Ault, founder of LevelUp Score, and today we are going to learn how to create freedom funnels for your business. It's about attracting, nurturing, and converting. So thank you for being here today. All right, so I want to tell you like a little personal story because I think stories help to put this all into play. You know, a lot of you know that I started in the credit business about 23 years ago. And back when I started, there wasn't a software available. Not a lot of CRMs that people talked about. It wasn't a big thing. But I met a gentleman by the name of John Cochran at one day for lunch. And he was like a contractor who was a home builder, but he also was looking to open his own real estate brokerage. And we got to know each other for a while, and he learned about my businesses and a successful credit repair business, but I also had a successful lending business. I was a loan officer. And what he did see is that I had several employees, but he also saw that I was working all the time, from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed, and even on the weekends. And he's like, there's got to be a better way. And so he introduced me to a CRM system. At the time, it was called Infusionsoft. And I remember spending an entire weekend putting campaigns together. And at the time, I had 4 employees, and they could not get all their work done in one day. It was like a problem, but I would find them sleeping at their desk and all these types of things. And there was a lot of issues with hiring people, right? But anyway, he showed me how to do this. I put all these automations together and these campaigns together in what is now known as Keep. And went back to the office on Monday and I said, hey guys, tomorrow everyone gets a paid day off. Everybody go home. And then on Tuesday, I had put the automations in place. I was able to do every single one of my employees' work by myself with those automations. And so the next day, I had to let some people go. Does that make sense? Okay. So I want to show you how that can work for you, but I actually want to show you even more than that. How can we actually attract our clients in and convert them while sleeping? So the model that I like to introduce to you is the attract, nurture, and convert model. And this is what I call the freedom funnel. So take note, get your notepads out if you're a note taker. This is a good one. All right, so a freedom funnel is a system that helps attract, nurture, and convert leads automatically. Your hands are off. And it works while whether you're like a credit repair company, you're a financial advisor, you're a loan officer, you're a real estate agent, everybody can use this model. So no matter where you're at, this model is for you. Again, by the end of today's live, I want you to know exactly how to create your own simple freedom funnel. So again, stay tuned. And if you are ready to have your own freedom funnel, drop in the comments the word freedom. Let me know that you're doing that. And I will even send you my calendar link to do a 15-minute strategy call so I can help you implement it. Okay. And I'm going to show you mine today. I'm going to show you one of my freedom funnels so you can have a good idea what that looks like. So part of the freedom funnel, we have attract, we have nurture, and then we have convert. So we're going to talk first about the attract because we have to first attract in order to nurture and then in order to convert. And sometimes the attract part is the hardest part, right? I hear it all the time. How do I get leads? How do I get leads? How do I get leads? That's my problem. I can't even get them, right? So you have a good product or service, but you can't even get the leads in to prove that you have a good product and service, right? And so this attract is a really important place for us to start in this freedom funnel. So I'm going to teach you how you can get consistent leads that are pre-qualified and aligned with what you are offering, okay? Which is important. So let's start with that first stage of the freedom funnel. It's called attract. And attraction is about creating the right bait for the right audience. You're not trying to attract everyone. And this is the problem. I talk about it a lot. I use the word like niche down, find your niche, that kind of thing. The idea is that you need to be attracting the right people, not everyone. If you're talking to everyone, you're talking to nobody, right? And so who is your audience? And sometimes if you're already in business and you have a load of clients right now, you might want to just look at who you have as clients and say, okay, out of all these people that are coming into my ecosystem, what are most of them wanting? So if you discover that most of the people coming in, they're wanting to buy a home, then you know at that point, okay, maybe that's the market I need to hit, because obviously something that I'm doing, whether it's intentional or not, is attracting those people. So how can I consistently attract those people? By having a message specifically for them. That's the attraction part, right? So having a message, you're talking to them, not to everybody. You're talking one-on-one, right? And so that's how you create this attraction. So think of it again, like you're one person talking to another person who needs the solution that you have right now. Okay. So sometimes looking at your current client base can help you figure that out. Sometimes it's about who, maybe your specialties or who you are attracted to. Maybe the person that you were at one time and how you've grown and transformed into where you're at now. And you're going to help other people do the same thing. Those are kind of ways that you can find out who your audience is if you're unclear right now. Okay. But you need to figure that out. Okay. So there's 3 teaching points that I want to talk about in the attract model. And the first one is clarify who you serve. Very important. Until you have that, you have nothing, right? So if you're telling me I can't get leads and I say, well, who's your audience? And you go, well, everybody with bad credit. Then I go, no wonder you can't get any leads. It doesn't work that way. Okay. So here's an example. Don't say anyone who needs credit repair, right? Or anyone who needs this or anyone who needs that, right? Say something more like individuals who are 6 to 12 months away from wanting to buy their first home. Right now, we're talking specifically to an audience saying, hey, if you're 6 to 12 months away from wanting to buy your first home, this message is for you. Do you see how that clarity in the message? Then if I'm that person, I go, oh, it's for me. That message is for me, right? Another example, you could say, we help future homeowners who want to qualify for a mortgage without getting overwhelmed by the disputes. Okay. So if you can clarify your audience message in one sentence, this is going to give you 10x the amount of leads that you normally would. So it makes that a very strong message. So the way that I do it, this is my shortcut method of figuring out that one sentence, is I say, I help who achieve what without, and then what's the pain point. So that's very helpful. So if you look at my example, we help who future homeowners who want to qualify, that's their specific result, for a mortgage without no pain point, overwhelmed by just being overwhelmed by disputes, right? Does that make sense? So if you can figure out who your audience is, make that one sentence, you're going to make your whole message 10 times stronger than if you didn't do that. Okay. And if you have a long message, right? People have short attention spans. We need it like in small chunks. So one sentence. So that is my teaching point number 1, is clarify who you serve and put it in one sentence. Again, that one sentence, I help who get what without, and what's the pain point? Okay. All right. Number two, create a value-based entry point. So this is kind of your lead magnet, which opens the door for them to come in, right? And so some examples, you might do a quiz. So I personally have done quizzes before. One of mine was, are you mortgage ready? Right? I'm actually getting ready to launch one of those right now. Are you mortgage ready? They take a quiz, and the quiz lets them know how prepared they are for the process of being mortgage ready, right? And I've done one before of, are you home readiness ready? How's your home buyer readiness? And then I give them a quiz and they get the results of their quiz and where they're at. And based on where they're at, I might have some specific suggestions to help them improve their score. Okay. So you could do it with quizzes, you could do it with guides, like an example of a guide that you might say, hey, get this free guide. 5 steps to boost your FICO in 30 days, right? Something like that could be a good lead magnet. A video. I'm going to show you mine today. It's a video. So oftentimes you could do a video, especially if it's storytelling. Storytelling videos seem to work really well. So you can look at that. But your lead magnet should feel like a free solution, not a sales pitch. Okay. So you might want to convey the message about who they are, who you're serving, what their pain points are, and how your process alleviates that and helps them get to their desired outcome, right? Or dream outcome. And then you want to promote it everywhere your audience is. So you want to analyze, where's your audience playing? Where's their playground? Is your audience on Facebook? Is your audience on LinkedIn? Is your audience on Instagram? Where's your audience? And make sure your message is on those platforms. So for me, like my audience, for one of my audiences, I should say, is Facebook. Another one of my audience is very much Instagram, right? And so you can think about that. And sometimes your audience are on multiple different platforms. So you're going to speak on all of those platforms, right? Anywhere they would be. But you might want to add a call to action, like take my free quiz. Here's the link and get your personal score plan or whatever you might call it, right? And so that's a great way to do it. Okay. So that's attract. And if you think that your freedom funnel has if you think about it, your freedom funnel is going to have a 24/7 salesperson. Okay, so that's what I want you to think about this. So get this idea of the attract really honed down. Who's your audience? Who are you speaking to? And speak to them. Okay. So you want to make sure that your introduction line is clear. That's that one sentence, clear, confident, and relevant to your audience's goal. So that's really important, right? Once you've attracted the right people, the next step is to nurture them. And this is very, very important. And I will tell you that being in the lending business for so many years, this is the part, loan officers, you guys suck at this. But a lot of companies and industries and professionals really suck at this part, and that's the nurture. And it's so very important. How does it feel if you get this lead come in, you have the right attraction, but you don't do anything after that, right? And that's where nurture comes in. So in our 3 steps to the freedom funnel, we have attract, nurture, and convert. So nurture. This is how you automate your follow-up. And I'm going to talk to you about automating your follow-up and your education. You're going to help build confidence and create that connection with your audience. Nurture is where the magic actually happens. It's the difference between a lead that forgets you and a lead that's ready to work with you within the next week, right? So you're really building this connection, this relationship with this new lead. Your freedom funnel should educate, empower, and engage automatically. Remember, your hands are not on this. This is the freedom funnel. We're building something that's automated without you needed to manually message every person, okay? All right, so 3 teaching points to this one as well, okay, on nurture. Number 1, we're going to create a simple follow-up sequence. Number 2, we'll talk about the automated social proof in education. And number 3, we'll talk about personalizing the journey, okay? So number 1, create a simple follow-up sequence. So this might be like, okay, they did your quiz, your lead magnet, what attracted them to you. And then you might send out a welcome email. Here's your quiz results, right? Here's what it means. Here's your next step that you can go through this journey. Day 2, you might do a story email. How I help someone get from denied to approved, right? Day 4, you might do a value email. 3 mistakes most people make when trying to fix their credit, right? And then day 7, you might do an invite email, right? Ready to see your own action plan? And then have an easy entry into that. So you might have, get your dollar trial, do this dollar trial, and you get your action plan, right? Some kind of easy thing. And you can automate this entire process in systems like Keep. A lot of you out there are using Go High Level, which is a great one. But really, any CRM system should have ability to set up these sequences that you can automate, okay? So we want to make a simple follow-up sequence. It doesn't have to be this long, drawn-out thing, especially if you're not used to it. I just gave you an example of day 1, right? An email. Day 2, an email. Day 4, an email. Day 7, an email. You might throw in that it's a text message as well. You can certainly do that. I know text seems to be a better model, but just really depends on your audience, right? What they open. Number 2, automate social proof and education. So use testimonials, video snippets, screenshots showing clients succeeding. You should have some social proof out there. Maybe it's Google reviews. That's social proof. Maybe you've been a speaker at an event. That's social proof, right? So if you can layer on the social proof, that will be very helpful. Testimonials, obviously, are social proof. So an example of this is this client added 82 points by focusing on her debt ratio, not disputes. That might be your message, right? And so if your audience, right, before we were talking about the audience being, hey, someone who wants to buy a house and get mortgage ready without the overwhelm of disputes, right? So if that's my message, then I can have a follow-up social proof. This client add 82 points by focusing on her debt, not disputes. And that happened. I have a lot of social proof personally for my product of where someone never does disputes but gets to their credit goal, right? You can certainly tie in different tools that you might use, like we're using LevelUp Score, can automatically generate those follow-ups and insights, and those can be sent via email and text message. So you can actually have that set up as well. So if they're clicking on get your dollar trial credit report, enter this information, and we're going to give you your action plan, and then you can have those tools like LevelUp Score that'll automatically send it. Number 3, personalize the journey. So important. There are a lot of you out there are really great at this, using different ways of doing video to make it personalized, but you want to add their name. Reference the quiz results, right? Send follow-ups that are relevant to their goal. And this is why if you have a niche, it's really easy to do that because all of your messaging can go around that one niche. You don't have to try to, oh, this person came to me to buy a car, so I have a new message for this person. You can just have all the same messages because you have one particular audience that you're serving, right? So an example of this might be, since you want to buy a home in 2025, here's what you can do this month. How powerful would that be? So you clicked on my thing about if you're mortgage ready. Maybe my thing said, hey, if you're looking to be mortgage ready in 2025, so you can buy your first home, let's, whatever. And then they come into that ecosystem and I might send them a follow-up message that says, hey, so-and-so, since you want to buy a house in 2025, here's what you need to do this month. And give them a really cool list of things that they could do, like a general list that anybody can do, right? But you're talking specifically to them on their goal and their timeline. Key quote that I'd like you guys to take down. Nurture isn't about selling anything, okay? Key quote, please write this down. Nurture isn't about selling. It's about showing that you understand who they are, what they want, and where they're at, okay? So that's why you're going to be giving them stuff like, hey, if you want to buy a house in 2025, here's what you need to do this month, right? So they can feel like you see them. That's really important. Remember I said last week, I think it was on the live, about people want to feel special. That still applies. That didn't go away just because it's a week. They still want to feel special. And this is in the nurture sequence where you can really help them feel special. Okay, which is really important. So once you have created this really simple nurture sequence that's personalized, right? That we're really helping them see themselves and that they know we see them, we have now created, we have our audience, we've attracted our audience, we've created trust within that audience, and now we can move on to the final step of the freedom funnel, which is helping them make a simple yes decision, right? And that's where the conversion system comes in. So Number 3 is convert. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to learn how to turn nurtured leads into paying clients with ease. Okay, so that's what this is about. So the convert stage is where your freedom funnel starts producing the real results, right? So we attracted the right audience, keyword right audience, attracted the right audience. We've nurtured them so they know that we see them and that they feel special. They can see the social proof. They can see that we're informed. So now they can trust us, right? So we built some confidence in ourselves, in our systems and processes. And so now we're about converting. So here's the key conversion. Isn't pushing, it's about alignment. Okay, so again, we're not pushing. So we got 3 talking and teaching points here as well. 3 teaching points. Number 1, we're going to talk about create a low barrier entry point. Number 2, we're going to talk about automate path to purchase. And the third one is stack value, not pressure. Okay, so here we go. All right, so number 1, create a low barrier entry point. This is my favorite. I've used it for years. It works perfectly. That dollar trial thing, okay? So you start with your dollar trial report and you get a personalized video review. I've done that for years now. I really mastered that in learning how to do online consultations. So you guys know that I teach a class called Mastering Online Consultations. So if you're interested in that, you can message below and just either DM me or put in the comments, get me that online mastering online consultations class, and I'll get you the link for that. It's so valuable. But this is where that came from. So you start with this dollar trial and you're offering them a personalized, customized review based on their goal. So you've attracted that audience, you know what they want already, even if they don't tell you because you've attracted the right people. And now you can make that personalized video. The easier it is for someone to take the first step, the faster they'll move. The easier you make it to help the person take the first step, the faster they will move. Okay. Make it simple, fast, and clear. And that's how you can reduce the hesitation. So that dollar trial credit report is definitely an easy, okay, $1, right? Use an automated path to purchase. Number 2, talking point number 2, use an automated path to purchase. So you might have like the quiz, and then they get the credit report, and then they get a video review, then they get an action plan, and then they get the payment link to get started, right? So you can kind of determine how you want to do that, or the DIY sign up link if you're doing DIY. So you want to have this, essentially this flow process of what happens as they come through, and you're going to automate those processes. So for instance, if you came to me for credit help when I was operating, you would come in and you would do the dollar trial, right? And then after that, this happened and this happened. I had the full sequence all automated. So before you actually talked to anyone on the phone or had any correspondence from anyone in my office, you actually already bought. Okay, so every piece of this was automated prior to that. Okay. Keep your emails and texts leading them through this process automatically. Again, you know the flow that you want to, the journey, if you will, that you want to take them in. And now you want to make sure that all your emails and text messages help them get through each step or the flow of your journey. Okay. And then you can obviously offer like do-it-yourself services, or maybe you have some done-for-you services, some kind of upsell process involved in that if you choose to. And the third talking point under convert is stack value, not pressure. You do not have to pressure anyone to buy your thing if you stack so much value in it that they don't even want to say no. They would feel stupid to say no, right? As Alex Hormozy would say. You want them to feel stupid to say no to your offer because of the value that's there. I like Alex Hormozy usually says, make whatever the cost of your product or service, make the value 10x. So it makes it so easy for them to say yes, okay? Here's everything you'll get when you start: your action plan, your coach review, your saving strategy, blah, 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 right? Now, caution, as you're doing your value stack, make sure it really is valuable to your audience. So it goes a long way to interview your audience and like, what do you need from me? What do you need from me? How can I help you? And those of you who have been in business for a while, you can go back and you can ask your clients, or you can look at what are they always asking for from you. That's your value stack. So you can start stacking that value. The goal is to make it feel like they're saying yes to help, not saying yes to being sold. All right. Key quote I'd like you to write down: conversion happens naturally when clarity meets confidence. Okay. Conversion happens naturally when someone feels like they've been seen and heard. They feel confident in the journey. They feel clear about the journey. And you've added so much value that they feel stupid to say no. Okay. All right. So I'm not convincing people to work with me. I'm showing them what's possible when they do. I'm not convincing people to work with me. I'm showing them what's possible when they do. And that is the key. So that's the freedom funnel. It's not about doing more, it's about building smarter. So you're going to create this all in automations, right? So we're going to automate the attraction. We're going to automate the nurture. We're going to automate the conversion, right? And that's your freedom funnel. So I'm going to do a wrap up, but I'm going to show you in real time. I'm going to share my screen real time. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you my, let me make sure. My most recent freedom funnel is with LevelUp Score. So it says you come in, it's a post on Facebook and other social media sites, and it says credit repair wasn't supposed to feel like burnout. I have a video here. This is a storytelling video where I talk about my own pain of running a successful credit repair business and what happened. So we always say we want more clients, but when you get them and you don't have systems and processes in place and automations in place, you find that maybe you don't want them all. Okay. You start to have that burnout, and that's what happened to me. And so I'm talking on this video just of what that is, right? And so when they click on the video and they come to this landing page is a part of my freedom funnel. So they're going to watch the video and then they can click on see how it works. And when they do that, it's going to drive them down to where it says try it yourself. And they get to play with what they would see in LevelUp Score. So they could put a client's name in here. So I'm going to say John Doe, and John Doe's goal is, let's say, let's keep it as buy a house. That's usually, he wants it in English. And then I put his credit monitoring credentials. Remember, they gave me the $1 trial, and then I'm going to generate the plan. This is how simple it works in LevelUp Score as well. So I'm just showing them how simple it works. Now we make it even simpler because we have connection straight with the credit bureau or credit monitoring system. So you don't even have to put all those details in. But then we say, okay, John Doe's action plan was created. Here we go. So reclaim your time and focus on what matters most. Earn back 10 plus hours per week and focus on growing your business. Stop spending hours on client calls. Never send another update. Automate, give your clients new action items every single month. You can show them their progress every single month. You don't have to touch this, right? And this was created because that was my problem. I was being burnt out on trying to update everybody, being on call all the time. And I didn't have to do that once I created my automations and systems. And of course, this is white label to your custom, your company, right? And so I can go ahead and view the plan from here. And now you as a consumer coming into my freedom funnel, you can see the actual plan that we just created for John Doe, right? And so I can see what we created. Now this is a fake client by all means, but it gives you an idea of what they would see, right? So now I can come back in here and maybe I want to try and run my first client for free. So now I can click try now. It's going to take them to a sign up page where they can sign up for their own free demo account where they can run one of their clients into LevelUp Score for free. So they got the opportunity to see, right, what the client would get. And now they're getting the opportunity to sign up to get their own free account. Do you see how that works? That is called a freedom funnel. I'm taking them step by step. When they take this step, then they're going to start getting nurtured from me as well. Okay. So there's a completely automated nurture campaign that comes with that. And then of course that is a converting campaign. I hope that makes sense. If you guys have any questions, let me know. You can always just put in the DM me or put in the comments freedom, and I will send you a link to my calendar for a 15-minute strategy call where we can actually put your freedom funnel together. So we can talk on that. So just to recap, we got 3 stages of the freedom funnel, right? We got attract, you get the right people in the door, nurture, build trust on autopilot, and convert, make it easy for them to say yes. Value stacking, personalization, right? Making it easy for them to come through your funnel. When you build this funnel once, it keeps working forever. Bring in the right people, building relationships, and helping more clients reach their goals while you live your life. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here at Tuesday's Top Tips. Today, we talked about the Freedom Funnel: attract, nurture, and convert.